welcome to my cooking show, where today I'm going to show you how to put food in a bag. Hey guys, I'm Christina, and I am a child of God, a wife, mama of 2 awesome little boys, lover of all things classy, and a health and fitness advocate where I help people get healthy and fit here online. And I'm excited to show you guys today just a few tips on meal prepping for the crock pot meals that I shared earlier this week on my page. So thanks for joining. Let me know if you can't hear me. Hey Josh, hey Roni, hi Teresa. I hope you guys can hear me okay and the connection looks like it's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Just a few things that you need for the crock pot meal prep is freezer bags, and I prefer the ones that have where you can write on them, a Sharpie, and your measuring tools, and then of course the supplies for your meals. So, and I also like to use rubber gloves because I'm funny about handling raw meat. So, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm gonna tie my hair back because it's proper and we don't want hair in our food. So you just throw it back here. Okay, so the 2 meals that I'm going to do today from the list that I shared, there were 7 crock pot meals that I shared earlier this week. And if you don't have those yet, I will include a link with this video after it's recording. So the first one is the crock pot chicken fajitas. So what we're gonna do is, I already have my bag ready and labeled, and I'm actually gonna do the chicken fajitas in 2 bags because we like our fajita vegetables to be a little more crunchy and not real soft. And a lot of times when you cook chicken fajitas in the crock pot, you get the soggy vegetables. So I'm going to do it just a little differently than what it says. Oh yeah, and I have this glass bowl here for to hold my bags in, because it just makes it easier when you're mixing everything. So, hey Jenny, hi Lisa. Okay, so first I'm going to do the chicken portion of it. So I have my chicken breast here, already in the bag. And then what you want to do first is add your seasonings in your bag. And in this case it's really easy because it's just the taco or the fajita seasoning. I got the one with less sodium. So you just put that in the bag, and then a half a cup of chicken broth. I got the carton of chicken broth for these recipes because you needed like 2 cups, I think, altogether, and this just makes it easier because then I'm not wasting part of a can. Okay, so just a half a cup. And then you just close it up in there and mix it all together. Now, if you are adding your vegetables, you can go ahead and add them in the same bag. But like I said earlier, I am doing them in a separate bag because what I'm going to do that morning is I'll put the chicken in the crock pot and then I will add the vegetables later in the day just so they don't get soggy, because we just like them a little more crunchier. So let me go ahead and add the vegetables. I don't know if you guys can see this bowl. I have this bowl sitting on the counter, and then I just set the bag in the bowl. It just makes it a lot easier to put everything in. Let me grab the veggies. scared, you guys, because I didn't want to cut onions in front of you and start crying on live video. So, just gonna add these to the bag. And then what you can do is you can either freeze this and make it later in the week, or just refrigerate it and pull it out, put it in your crock pot in the morning, and when you get home, dinner's gonna be done. So awesome. Okay, so I've got my bag with the chicken and the bag with the veggies. And then when we eat these, we'll use corn tortillas. I prefer the corn because I just think they taste better than the flour, and I feel like they're better for you than the flour ones are. And then you could serve it with guacamole, cheese, salsa when you eat those during the week. Okay, so that's one meal done. Okay, so the next meal is the chicken and sweet potato stew. So I'm going to go ahead and label my bags. I'm also going to use 2 bags for this one because it seems like it might be too much for one bag. And honestly, you guys, these meals are going to be a lot for my family. Each meal, I think, it tells the servings on it when you download them. But for our family, we have 2 adults and then 2 small children, and they're like at the stage where they're very picky eaters right now. So some of this stuff, honestly, they won't eat. So it's just me and my husband. So these meals are going to last us longer than a week, which is really nice. So that's another reason why it's kind of nice to put it in 2 bags, because you can make half one day and make half another day, and you just kill a couple birds with one stone. So, and then I also date the bags because of that reason. So, you can see I put chicken, sweet potato stew, 1 of 2. And then I'm going to mix it all together. This one's super easy. I'm grabbing a bigger bowl here because I'm going to mix it all together. So I have my chicken. It's all cut up into cubes. And speaking of, the chicken is easier to cut when it's a little frozen. Otherwise it's slimy and hard to cut. So just a little tip on that. If your meat is still a little frozen, that's the perfect time to try to cut it up for stuff like this. And then 2 sweet potatoes and 2 carrots chopped up. And then a 28 ounce can of stewed tomatoes. I have 2 of the smaller cans. So you just mix that together. Okay, and then this one has some fun spices. So we've got a half a teaspoon of salt. Don't mind me, I just kind of eyeball things. And a half a teaspoon of black pepper. A 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And some of this sounds kind of funny in this recipe. You're like, cinnamon, nutmeg. But this is really good. This recipe is really good. It's one of our favorites. Okay, an 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg. One teaspoon of paprika. And then a teaspoon of celery seed. So yeah, it's kind of a weird combination, but all together, it's really good. And then it calls for a 1/4 cup of fresh basil. I forgot fresh basil at the store, so I'm just going to use the dried leaves. No big deal. It'll still taste good. And then you don't need to use as much when it's dry. And then a cup of the chicken broth. Okay, and this is where my gloves are going to come in handy. And so I'm just going to mix this all together. Get all the spices and good stuff in there. This is such a great, like, cold weather meal. Okay, and then we're just going to scoop it in the bags. And so you see this is about half of it there. Actually, this might all fit in one bag, but it would be a little tight. So I can freeze this and then pull it out the day before or the night before that I'm going to put it in the crock pot. Or I can just put it in the fridge, say I'm going to make it in like a couple days. And then I just pull it out and put it in the crock pot in the morning and it's done by night. It's so convenient, so awesome. The perfect way to set up your week for success, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So the reason why I'm doing this, and I wanted to help people with the crockpot meals this week, is because as some of you probably have seen, Beachbody is doing a health bet. It's starting Monday. And so for everyone that was participating in that with me, I wanted to make sure to set them up for success this month. So yeah, I will include the link to those crockpot meals with this video and when it uploads to my page. So feel free to follow that and download the meals. Super helpful. And I'm here for questions always. So my sister says, I want to bring that to the Heart Hospital. So does anybody have any questions or anything this morning? That's kind of the gist of it. That was 2 meals out of the 7. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. I was a little nervous going live like this, but yeah, this was fun. So anyway, I hope you all have a great Saturday, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.